This edition of MacVoices is sponsored by Linode, high-performance cloud hosting for everyone. Visit linode.com/MacVoices and take $20 off your first server package. MacVoices is at Macstock 2019. I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, I wanted to introduce you to Joe Buhlig. He got a mention from the stage in one of the presentations, and I want to ask him about it.
Sure.
Joe, it's good to see you.
Certainly. Glad to be here.
So why were you called out about your analog workflows?
Oh, gosh. So I have been a techie for a long time. I've been big in kind of the OmniFocus space. People know me from that. And I think it was about a year and a half ago or so, I kind of got into plain text files and took over a lot of my online task management type scenarios. But I do all of my development work on computers, Chuck. So if you're on the screen all the time, at some point you got to get off of them. So I've been slowly morphing this whole analog system that then connects to my digital system. And Josh has realized that I'm crazy for trying this. And because so many people here are all into the digital side of things, it meant that he's going to bring it up because it's a fun thing to joke about. So.
Well, but I think it's interesting because I went through some of his experiences that he was describing on stage and some of what you're talking about. Sometimes the digital is not the best solution.
Right, for sure. And that, in my case, what it means is I end up using the digital a lot on high level, because I'm not on the screen a lot whenever I'm at that high level. But whenever I get down into the nitty-gritty and the details of things, I like the free form of paper. It lets me go where I want to go.
Now, when you say free form, are you talking about brainstorming? Are you talking about notes? Are you talking about to-do lists or all of the above?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm on all of those. So if I'm doing like monthly planning or yearly planning or just a daily task list or any of that, that's all on paper. Whenever I get to like those midstreams where I've got 3, 4, 10 projects that I'm working on, you should never have 10 projects, Chuck.
Amen.
So whenever I'm managing that project level or trying to manage the goals or the missions for those specific projects, I'll tend to do that in digital, mostly because I have a tendency to share those with other people. But anytime I'm above or below that, where I'm trying to think or reflect or manage details, that's all going to be on paper.
Okay, I've got to go just a little farther on this. So when you do that to-do list or whatever, then do you keep it analog or do you transfer it over to digital if you're not sharing with someone?
If I'm not sharing it with someone, it always stays on paper. I work in IT support for the most part, so things move so fast that by the time I put it into a digital system, manage it for a couple of days, like it's already done. Like I should have just left it, even if it's a 20-minute long task or sometimes even a 2-hour long thing. I'm better off doing it right away in most scenarios because it's an emergency and it needs done. So it doesn't make sense for me to put those in a digital system because it's going to get checked off before I ever have a chance to manage it. So it might as well stay on the paper notebook.
No, I like it. I mean, I think I wanted to have this conversation with you because I think it is interesting that we all look to our phones and our Macs and our iPads, and we're pushing the digital thing, and that's the way you need to do it. Sure. And it really doesn't matter as long as it works for you.
Right, for sure. You know, we joke all the time with Mike Schmitz and I, Mike from Bookworm, of course, and I'm sitting here with my pen and paper, and of course I've been at it long enough. I've got the fancy notebook, the fancy pens, and of course, you get into that. And Mike's sitting there with an iPad. So of course we're joking about it all the time. But I just like the ability to I can have a list of blog post ideas, and the next page over is my monthly planning, and the next page over can be whatever I want it to be. And technically you can do that on the iPad. But just the two of us sitting there, I'm flipping through my stuff way faster than he is. And he's a pro, so he does it all the time. Yeah. So,
interesting point.
I like that.
So you mentioned Bookworm, which is the podcast you do with Mike Schmitz.
Yep.
What have you read that's interesting lately?
Oh my gosh, great question. The most recent is The 4-Hour Workweek, Tim Ferriss. Very polarizing book. It's okay, we love this, we hate this. We love that, we hate this. Okay, well, that's Tim Ferriss for the most part. So that's been a fun, interesting read. One of them I'm doing, it's not actually on Bookworm. It's The Art of Gathering by Priya Parker, I think is her name. which is about events just like this, of how do you put together an event, a group of people, how do they gather together, and what makes a successful event. What makes it successful, even if it's as small as having a couple over for dinner one night. That's same thing, but how do you make that a successful get-together? And it's been kind of a fascinating read so far.
I was not familiar with that one. I think
Yeah,
you just gave me some homework.
There you go. See, now you got some action items.
Yeah, thank you. Obviously, they can find you at the Bookworm Podcast.
Yep.
How about your personal website is?
Yeah, so my personal website is joebuhlig.com, buhlig.com, and bookworm.fm. Those are the easy ones. Yep.
Joe, thanks so much for the time.
Certainly. Thanks, Chuck.
Folks, more from Macstock 2019 in Woodstock, Illinois. I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.